You're listening to Greater Good Radio Hawaii. Please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. Today's guest is Kelly McGill, CEO of Grand Pacific Resources, partner at Tiki's Grill and Bar, and co-owner of Nicky Shoe Store. Kelly has spent more than 10 years developing and maintaining contact with government and business leaders throughout Asia and the Pacific Rim. He is a board member of the Vietnamese Chamber of Commerce of Hawaii. Kelly, before break, you mentioned about how it was so important that all of the businesses you grew, it was so important to give back to the community. And during some talks before, you did mention that Tiki's Grill and Bar is heavily involved in the community and giving back. Could you explain to us their involvement and why it's set up this way?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't be where I am today and have these opportunities if somebody didn't put their faith in me or give me a chance. And I've had a lot of people support me through thick and thin throughout my life, and I think it's my way of repaying even those who don't know. I grew up on the mainland. I could name past football coaches, junior high school teachers, principals, because I was in their office quite a bit, who stuck behind me for whatever reason, and even though they have no idea this conversation is happening, or I've even we can say I have achieved what I have, I feel responsible to them. And especially my parents as well. We have a tight family. They've supported me in all my ventures.
So you were mentioning about Tiki's contributions to the community.
Sure. The way Tiki's, or first of all, we know we live in a small island, and the world's growing smaller, and it's trickle down effects. Whatever type of business you do, if you do good business and you're honest, and you're conscious of the environment as well as social, cultural, you're going to benefit. And when we started Tiki's, and Tiki's was a pretty risky venture going into because of our logo and what the restaurant's theme was built around. And it's, to some cultures, Tiki's are religious. To some, they represent war. To some, they represent, ownership rights, social economics. And so, although they're beautiful to look at and they're mysterious and funny and powerful, we had to be very careful that the community saw that we weren't, taking advantage of something that was historical, because people really aren't educated on what Tiki's represent as a whole. One of the first ways, and I'll use an example, the way Tiki's gives back to the community is before we even hired any of our staff, we had everybody volunteer to do the USS Missouri cleanup, where they cleaned the decks. We had about 100 people there clean the decks, and they weren't even hired yet. This is before the hiring process. We had people do beach cleanups. We wanted them to buy into our philosophy that before we can open a business, we have to be a good community citizen. What comes around goes around. From that time, our grand opening, our first 3 days of our grand opening of Tiki's Grill and Bar, the proceeds the first one went to the Aloha United Way. Second one went to the Waikiki Community Center. And the third one went to the Shriners Transportation Fund. And this is before any employee made a dime, as well as the owners. But we wanted to prove to the community and show our employees, too, look, this is what you're buying into. We're going to create this opportunity. We have to do this first. You have to give before you get. And I think a famous pope said it a long time ago. He said, giving is a selfish act, because when you give, you get more in return. And that wasn't the philosophy behind what we were trying to do, but it is the reality of things. And hence the people who have been with us from that day one, where they struggled the first 3 days because they weren't bringing home tips or a paycheck, are now doing very well. Some of them are managers. We encourage anybody on the management to rotate through the community, doing lobbying up at the Senate. We have people who sit on the Waikiki Improvement Association boards. It's always a job of discovery, because we're constantly not only educating our customers who are there, because we are in Waikiki, which is very historical, but we we offer tours, educational tours of Waikiki, Bishop Museum, Hawaiiana to all our staff, so that they can learn and therefore share what they have learned with the people who are coming to visit Hawaii. And that's what people essentially want when they visit our restaurant or in Hawaii. They want to know, why is this a volcano? What does it mean? Who is Pele? Where did King Kalakaua live? Why is it called Prince Kuhio Beach? You know, and that's all giving back because, you know, later on down the road, a snack shop down Prince Kuhio Beach is going to benefit from that, or Queens Beach, because one of our customers was educated on that was the beach of royalty. And then they'll go check it out. And then they'll go, I'm hungry. Let's go eat the snack bar.
Thanks for joining us today on Greater Good Radio. For more information or a transcript of today's show, please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. This is your host, Evan Leong and Carrie Leong, saying please join us next time for another episode of Greater Good Radio, Hawaii.